Welcome to Milesh and Sadie Property Talks, the podcast where property investors and developers get practical insight, real deal analysis, and honest conversations about what actually works in today's market. And we'll analyse a real deal in our new feature, The Hot Seat.
In this episode of Series 3, the Investor and Developer Playbook, we're discussing flips versus holds in today's market. We'll look at strategic factors that influence that decision, from refinancing risk to liquidity.
And I will explain the difference between designing bathrooms for rental durability versus flip appeal in our Room of the Week.
Let's go. Flips versus holds.
Yeah, okay, you go. What do you want to say about this?
So what's smarter? I think today's market suggests that there's a bit of volatility.
No.
With the government, what's going on in the wider world, all of that plays a part in what's going on in the UK property market. Whilst the economy and the property market aren't directly linked, there is a relationship with each other.
Yeah.
So if I was to get into property now, I would be leaning towards more holding property rather than flipping them.
Interesting.
Because whilst the market is an impact or plays a part, it doesn't play as much of a part as it does in flips.
Okay.
So what do I mean by that? So if I'm buying a property to add value to and sell on, there's an increased chance that the market may dictate what that end value is, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm buying it to add value and hold, I might still get that market impact, but I'm not going to realise the capital straight away.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
So if I'm flipping and I want 25 grand profit, then the market changes, that 25k could be wiped out.
Okay.
Yeah. If I hold on to it and I don't know, let's just say the value is 200 grand. If that value drops from 200 to 175, what does that actually mean if I'm holding it? It means I'm going to get a lower mortgage from the lender, which means my capital back isn't going to be as high.
Yeah.
Granted.
Yeah.
However, this is what people miss out on. If you're getting less of a mortgage or lower mortgage, what's that going to do to your cash flow? It's going to go up.
Okay.
So it then becomes an ROI question, right? So if the market drops 25 grand and you can afford to keep hold of it, your mortgage amount per month is going to be lower. Your rents are going to be what your rents are going to be. But because your mortgage amount's lower, what you end up with in your pocket is going to be higher.
Yes.
Because you've got lower leverage on that or less leverage on that. Versus taking the 25 grand out now, potentially taking zero out because of market movement, then holding on to it is going to be a better option for you.
What if you really don't like the idea of being a landlord, particularly because of the whole renters' rights situation?
If flips are, I think what you're saying is, I still want to do flips.
Well, I can't see another way out of it, really, because it just feels like, and I mean, I don't understand the world as much as you do, but it feels like being a landlord right now is quite a headache.
There are more rules today, and there will be more rules in May off the back of Renters' Rights Act, which is absolutely right. What does it mean? It means that you've got to dot your I's and cross your T's even more than you ever have. You've got to be really careful about the tenants that you bring into your properties.
Yeah.
And you've got to make sure your paperwork is on point 24/7.
Okay.
So it's more painful than it was.
Yeah.
It will be a little bit more painful than it is.
Yeah.
But it's still good.
Okay.
I would say. You got to think about a lot of the landlords that are landlords have either come into it by accident or have been in the game for a long time. And in either of those scenarios, more regulation means more fear and more to do. So if you're looking back 5-10 years ago to now, it's different and it's harder. But if you're just starting out now, you know no different. But what you do know is all the rules.
Yes, okay.
So you can adapt to that, understand that, And that's going to put you ahead of those people who have been in the game for ages who might want to exit. And what does that bring? Opportunity. Because where they want to leave, you're open to it, fresh to it, happy to take on the world as it is today, then that could bring opportunity for you in buying new deals.
Interesting. Okay. So it's being open to it. It's getting your head around the different exit strategies, like you say. And just because really you wanted to just flip, it doesn't mean that that's going to be the best route right now.
No. If it's capital that you're looking for and you still want to do flips and what I've said doesn't convince you, that's cool. What does it actually mean in reality? It means you've got to work harder.
Yeah.
You've got to do that many more viewings to find that one deal that's going to work for you in today's market. And guess what? Due diligence. So factor in the market change, potential market movement. What will that mean? Well, if your end value is now 175 instead of 200, guess what? You're not going to be able to offer what you could have done if it was 200.
Yeah.
So you have to offer lower than what the expectation might be of that seller.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get every single deal that you look at. So it becomes a volume thing then,
Yeah.
right? So your relationships with agents come good because you want to get access to deals before they go on market, one factor. You've just got to get out there more or have people out there viewing for you. You've got to have a slicker process of doing that due diligence, running your numbers before you go out and offer, being confident to offer a number that is less than what the asking price is, being open with your agent and transparent with your agent, particularly around communication of that. And the deals will come, but it ain't going to happen tomorrow.
So basically, both routes are hard. There's in the current market, it's not easy. There's no kind of passive income with this. It's a tricky job.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but it depends how you look at it.
Okay.
Right. So if I said to you, you need to start a business and it's going to be passive and you don't need to put any time in, you won't believe me, right?
No, it's no such thing. It's true.
So property is the same thing.
Yeah.
The advantage with it is, yes, you've got a lot of work to do up front. I'm not discounting that. There is a lot involved. This is why not many people do it and do it well, right? But if you can master that system of getting out there, doing all the things I've just said, then you're way ahead of the 95% of the other people. And once you've done the work once, and it's like the buses, right?
Yeah.
So you'll go out. At one point, I had 30 to 40 offers out at any one time just for one deal to come good.
Gosh.
So you work back from that and think about the effort involved to get to that point.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But you keep going and you don't just get one deal. You get, it's like the buses. You'll get 2, 3, 4.
And then you have to decide which one you want to go for.
Or go for all of them because you're that aggressive in what you want to achieve.
Okay.
Then you buy the deals. Then you do you add the value once.
Yeah.
And if you're renting out or selling, you've done the work once and you've either been paid back through your flip, you've got a capital lump, or you're being paid forever on that rental.
Wow.
So you think about it over a longer period of if you do 3 or 4 flips into 2-3 years or whatever versus, doing 3 or 4 or 5 buy-to-lets over a 5-10 year period, it's still relatively passive because you're doing the work once.
Yeah, and then it's a rinse and repeat.
And you're, rinse and repeat, or you're getting paid forever on the rental.
Okay. And with the fact that there's this much work involved and you've got to really get to know your agents, would you say that you should be quite specific with the location that you're going to be looking for your property?
Definitely. So I think I've said before, so strategy, what is it you want? Is it capital or is it income? That determines whether you go down the flip route or the hold route. And that applies to resi and commercial.
Yeah.
Area, as you say, the location is really important.
How specific are you getting with that location? I mean, are you like doing just one town or is it like the southeast,
As specific as you can.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So with area, I say pick 10 areas within a distance you're happy to commute to. Then you whittle them down. So do desktop analysis, desktop research, get down to 5. Okay, these 5 are better than those 5. Fine. Now go into the next level of detail. That's when you probably want to get your feet on the ground, have a look at properties, speak to agents, understand what what industry's out there if you're holding on to it?
Okay.
What's the demand like for rental? What's the demand like for flips if that's the route you're going down? You know, you don't want to be buying in a council estate if you want to flip a property.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know, so actually that location doesn't work for that particular strategy.
Yeah.
Get down to 5, get down to 3. So go from 5 to 3, and they're the areas you want to focus on and start really going out, viewing, building relationships with agents and all that sort of stuff, because that will then give you enough specificity to find the stuff
like
that you
that
want.
word. Yeah. Okay.
Then and only then do you go to property type.
Gosh, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, there is, but a lot of it can be done online.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of it can be done online.
When you say property type, do you mean as in whether you're flipping or holding, or do you mean whether you're going to choose commercial versus resi?
Whether you're going to choose a 3-bed mid-terrace versus a detached house versus an apartment.
But is that not more deal specific? Do you really choose a type of property?
It depends what your strategy and what your area demands,
Okay.
and you know, as to what you then go and buy.
Right. Okay.
So, for example, I wanted to get into HMOs because the income was better and everything else. I found an area that had a demand that would serve that, and then I found a property type that would enable me to do that and execute. So we were buying 3-bed mid-terrace houses with a specific floor plan, where there was a downstairs, 2 reception rooms downstairs.
Yeah.
One would be converted to a bedroom. The other would be a communal space with the kitchen, 3 beds upstairs. And then I just found exactly those types of properties in the same area and just bought a handful of them.
Oh, interesting. But whereas flipping, there might be like a flat that could be recarved out that could be fantastic. Equally, there might be a 3-bed terrace that has the same ROI, or, you know.
Yep.
So you could be a bit more flexible on that.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely. Yeah. So if you're flipping, I wouldn't say just go for flats where you can go from 1 bed to 2 bed.
No.
Unless you know there's enough of them and there's enough of a demand, then that is all you do. You laser focus on that.
Okay.
If it's houses, then find that floor plan that's going to work that might give you a 3 to a 4 bed, and then just double down on that. Because the more specific you are with an agent and your own requirements,
The more you get remembered and the more deals you can do.
and more likely you're going to get what you want.
Yes. Interesting.
So all about the planning up front.
It's all about the planning, and there is a lot of planning.
Yeah. But it's easy to get overwhelmed by it. But the more you do of this stuff up front, the quicker you're going to progress when you get your teeth into it.
Yeah, and I feel like now might be a good opportunity just to remind people that this is actually what you offer as well, that you coach people, because this is really overwhelming, and I'm sat here going, oh my God, this is a lot. And to do it on your own is a lot. So
Yeah. So I help people on a one-to-one consultancy basis where we can have a one-off session where I've got a particular problem, or I understand what my strategy is for the next 12 months. We can sit down and go through that. Or it may be that you want some regular accountability to make sure you're doing what you say you're going to do. Or I have an annual program over 4 quarters. So it's more of a top-down review where you're going, right, stake in the ground on the first meeting. This is the plan for the next 12 months. You've got enough about you to go off and do stuff. And then every 3 months we check in and go, right, where are you? Why aren't you where you want to be?
Yeah.
Or what's gone really well? How do we move forward into the next bit?
Yeah.
So all options are doable.
Yeah.
But I might have said it once or twice, but that upfront work will pay dividends.
Is it something about due diligence?
Yeah. You've not heard that before. Well, let me tell you. So going back to flips and holds, that's a real kind of insight into the level of detail you need to probably go to define which route you go down.
And you should have a strategy to start with, because actually then how you end up working the inside of your home is going to be really impacted by that.
Yeah. And I think look, it can be done without any of that. You might just find a nice property and go, I think it works. Cool. But I think in the long run, it will serve you better if you want to get in and stay in for a period of time. It serves you better to get the work done up front. So flips and holds. Tax positioning is another one.
Okay.
There is different tax treatment, whether you buy a property to sell on versus buy it to keep.
Yeah.
So that needs to be factored in. So again, back to, network and team, make sure you've got a good accountant around you that you can be clear on your intentions, and then they can give you the right advice around how to structure your business around that. Different tax treatment, capital allowances or not, different codes on company's house, all of those things are minor things, but done right will give you the best out of it.
Yeah, sure.
And just before I stop talking, the last one is just around refinance.
Okay.
And viability of refinance. So if flips is the thing, then you need to make sure that you can still refinance it and break even as a minimum should you have to hold it, particularly in today's market where things are a bit volatile.
Yeah, that makes total sense. You have to go down at least 2 channels to check that those figures
2 exits
are going to work out.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So from an interiors perspective then?
Yeah, so we're going to focus a little bit on the bathroom this time.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying it is very helpful. I understand that sometimes you've done a flip, you're aiming for a flip, but then the market means that you've got to pivot and you've got to change and rent it out. But if you know from the upside that it's going to be a rental, how you treat something like the bathroom is quite different to how you would treat a flip. And also the demographic that's going to use it. So I want to give you a few sort of basic examples. If you know that you are going to be renting this out and you've got a bathroom and it might be either a family house or even it's going to a group of young professionals, then you're probably looking at adding sort of like a shower over the bath situation. And it's something that is not built in. So, you can get the showers that are all built into the wall that look really fancy, or you get the ones that are actually, they've got their own rail and they're external. You would go for something like that for 2 reasons. Number one, they're cheaper. And number two, if they go wrong, you're not pulling everything out. And that's the key here. If you've got to go in to fix anything, you want it to be quick and efficient and cost effective. Second thing you're probably going to choose more things like large format tiles than something that's beautiful, tiny mosaics for, again, the cost effectiveness of the tile, the cost effectiveness of actually putting that tile in, the labor, and then things like grout lines and stuff. If you've got lots of tiny grout, it looks filthy very quickly. That means that's a lot of upkeep. You want something that's easy to look after. Things like, you're going to go for more chrome and finishes on your taps and your showers and your towels because they're cost effective and they're easy to clean. Whereas when you go to the other side, which I'll talk about, you can go fancier, but that is something that will start to patina quite quickly. Things like towel rails are really important. If you're going to be renting out to a group of young professionals, you want to make sure that you've got lots of space for everyone to hang their towels, lots of storage. All of those things are really key. That's what people are looking at when they know they're going to be sharing a house. They want to make sure that everybody's got somewhere to keep all their stuff in that bathroom. And I think that also goes to family life. They want to make sure that they're getting plenty of storage and plenty of practical, requirements ticked in that room. When you go to flip, you're looking at really more of getting that initial wow impact. And so you still need to be really wary of where your ROI is so that you're not over-speccing this bathroom. But you might want to invest a little bit more in at least kind of a feature wall of tiles, something that really grabs as people walk in. Again, knowing that end demographic, because if it's not a family house, you might decide to put in a walk-in shower and actually not have a bath at all. Things get up and up as the kind of spec goes up. So things like lighting becomes more important. When you're just on your cost effective level, you're just putting simple downlights in. As you go up, you have lit mirrors. And as you hit sort of top spec, you're expecting niches built into walls for, your shampoo alcoves, and you're expecting them to be lit. So it's just going up and up. And your finishes on taps and showers and things like that, a chrome doesn't quite cut it when you're upper level. You're looking for sort of more of your brass, your aged brass, or even black, something that's a bit funkier. So if you know where your property's going to end up, it can really help. That's not to say that if you have a flip and you've renovated for a flip and then you have to go to a lease, that it's a car crash, but maybe just be a bit mindful. If you think that might be the way that you're going to go, then you might just, some of your material choices might just be a bit impacted.
And let's be honest, before, it's back to this whole review thing, right? So when you're in the project, if you're on the fence as to which way you might have to go because your initial flip idea isn't going to fly, You're only going to know that if you check in.
Yes.
If you check in on your numbers, if
Yeah.
you check in on your agents to say, right, come and have a look. This is what we're aiming for. This is what it could look like. I just want to check in, a sense check around what the market's doing at the moment as to whether these features are going to add the value to me getting what I want for it.
That is such a good point. I totally agree with that. Even if you've got an initial plan, which you should have, an initial spec and spreadsheets and everything, it's checking in all the way through. Because like you've just said, if you get 3 quarters through and suddenly the figures and the market is not looking like you're going to flip, at this point, you've not second fixed. You haven't put your sanitary ware in or your tiles in. So you've got that chance then to switch and actually make it right for where it's going.
Yeah. Talk to the agents, understand what the rates are doing if you do have to hold on to it.
Yeah.
What your numbers might look like with that. Speak to your accountant. You know, you almost need to go back around the houses with your team before you make that ultimate decision which way you're going to go.
Yeah.
But you don't have to decide when you offer. I think the latest point to decide is before you get to that second fix stage, because you're then likely to be a month, 6 weeks away from it being finished. And that's enough time scale for you to gauge what the market's doing and where you're going to go with it. Because let's be honest, the buying price, you know, you offer 1st of January, by the time you've bought it, average of 5 to 6 months these days. I mean, 3 months if you're lucky, right? So we're already in summer before we've even got the keys. You then get the keys, 12 weeks for a refurb. Again, could be 16, could be 20. So then where are you now? You're in like September. And then you've got Christmas looming. So that's another question is actually, is it worth me waiting until January or do I get it done for October?
Yeah.
Because we know that in November till January, seasonal is massive.
Yeah.
Between November and mid-November and January is when things will start to cool.
Yeah.
Similarly, in summer, middle of July till September, no one's really looking for a house, are they?
No.
So those things play a part as well. And guess what? If you speak to your agent and they're saying, yeah, the market's all right, but don't forget we've got Christmas coming up. Again, you might have to hold on to it for a bit longer, which is going to cost you a little bit more.
Yeah.
So the check-in's really important to know what the right time is to put it on the market.
Yeah.
If you want it gone before Christmas, I think October is probably your latest opportunity. Price it right, make sure the property is on point, and the likelihood is you'll get it done and dusted before Christmas, which is perfect scenario for all.
Which goes back to all of the planning and making sure that if you are working backwards and you know you've got to hit October, then you know maybe you've only got 12 weeks for this reno, which means that actually will determine what you might be doing in there as well. If you make it overcomplicated, then that's going to slip and you're going to miss that. And like you say, you're going to be holding on to this empty property until we've hit the new year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say process is so important. I mean, I think I go on a lot about this. I love having a process. We have a 10-step process in our business, and it means that everything is super duper organized. Everybody knows where we are. It's the same in this world. If you're a developer, you have to have processes. So you know early on, this is the process you do to check that it's a viable project, and that this is the process you do to know that the construction prices are all right. But also there needs to be processes at different points through that construction. So you know that maybe when you're at first fix, this is the process that you're going to look at. And then if you hit second fix, this is the next load of processes that you look at. So it's all in the spreadsheets.
It's all about process.
It's all the process.
Process is power.
Okay, so shall we move on to our hot seat?
The hot seat. What is the hot seat?
Well, our hot seat is where viewers and listeners can write in with property-related questions. I want to be clear about that. They are property-related. And then we give our opinion on what you should do, basically.
Cool.
So this one is, our broker says we can refinance and pull out most of our cash, but the rate is 5.9%. Is it smarter to take the profit now and refinance? Milesh, this is really all on you. I mean, I don't know. Go do whatever.
What's the strategy? I
Well,
guess.
it doesn't say. So you can talk us through the different options.
So if it's, I mean, if the broker's saying most of the money can come out,
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards keep hold of it.
Okay.
The rate is the rate. It's 5.99. But if you're getting most of your money out, then that enables you to do the next project.
Okay.
If you've got another project lined up and you need more money to get into that deal, then I would consider selling it. But that said, you're kissing goodbye potentially a lifetime's worth of income
Okay.
because if you want that extra 25%, depending on the value. Does it say property value amount?
No.
I don't think it does.
Very vague.
Yeah, so I would say, yes, the rates are a challenge. A 5.99 seems high on the face of it, but if you're pulling most of your money out, then you've got a stack of cash to go on to your next one.
Okay.
So it's only if you need that additional 25% desperately, i.e. you've got a home for that money before you've refinanced, would I say, okay, yeah, maybe look at getting rid of it.
Okay.
Unless the other scenario is if you don't want to be a landlord or you don't want to hold on to property, you've done it to a flip stage, fine. Just get a shot and move on to the next flip.
Okay.
But I'd be leaning towards keep hold of it.
Refinance.
Yeah, most of your money's out. Take most of your money out. And then the payback on that money left in through rents will be minimal by the sound of it,
Okay.
even at a high rate. So what's not to like about keeping hold of it and having a monthly income forever?
Fair. Job done.
Great question.
Very good.
But people are, rightly or wrongly, driven by rate quite a lot. My mortgage rate is this. What lenders are doing now to try and keep mortgage rates down is increasing their fees. So there's a setup fee.
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5. I've seen 9%, 10%
Wow.
fee just to get into the mortgage.
Yeah.
They do that because they can recover a lot of their money to make sure that the rate's low. So it's about looking at it in the round rather than just that
One figure.
headline rent number.
Yeah.
I'll stop ranting now.
No, I
but
loved it.
that was really good. I think
Yeah.
we've exhausted quite a lot there, haven't we?
100%.
In conclusion, there's no single right answer when it comes to flipping or holding property. It always comes down to strategy, timing, and your personal financial goals.
The key is making the decision before you start the project, but it's also just as important to review your decision as you progress. If you've got a question you'd like to pose on the hot seat, leave a comment below this video or get in touch with us directly on Instagram or LinkedIn.
Thank you for listening to Milesh and Sadie Property Talks. If you've enjoyed the episode, subscribe to the show and share it with another investor or developer who's weighing up their next move.
And we'll see you next time. Ooh.